Aloha from San Diego, California. I've got a treat. I've got Deb Cole.
Aloha!
Deb and I have been friends for a very long time.
At least 2 decades.
And when it comes to social media or anything that has to do with growing a business using social anything, Deb Cole is the person, right? So like, she is the first person I pick up. Deb, I got a question. So Deb, here's a question for you today.
Okay.
If you were going to sell your business in the next 12 to 36 months and you had some time to dedicate towards some sort of social media or some sort of platform, what would you dedicate that time to?
Number one place I would dedicate to is YouTube, and I would start a podcast on YouTube. YouTube is one of the best places and platforms for your YouTube, your podcast. So YouTube is the best platform for your podcast. Now, yes, Spotify as well. Yes, Apple Podcasts, right? There are a number of them. And by the way, you can repurpose your podcast on them. But the number one channel, which is what you asked, is YouTube for your podcast. So
we are 12 to 36 months out. We want to sell the business.
Yep.
We're creating a YouTube podcast. Yep. It used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
If you wanted
back in the olden days, yes.
We walked to school both ways uphill.
Both ways uphill.
Yeah.
I kind of did.
No,
see
sure.
where I live.
I know where you live.
Uphill everywhere.
But it used to be that you had to do 10 episodes. Is that true?
So I always recommended you do what we say batch create. You create, and again, coming from like the Hollywood industry, we call it in the can, right? In the film industry. In other words, there's 8 ready in the can, edited, ready to start releasing, and you dump it just like a Netflix season. Oh. So you dump a season all at once so people binge on it. The problem with that strategy is people don't start, or they get 1 in, they get 2 in, and they maybe get to 3, but they don't get to 4, and they don't get to 8. They become overwhelmed, and they also don't get the feedback. This is even more important from their viewers and listeners. So if you have 8, unless you have just some story you're telling, right? That's different. But if you're just giving business advice, especially if it's something in AI or anything technical, the speed of light just changes. Tech changes so quickly. We see this with AI, like all of a sudden, boom, there's another release, and you have all this in the can, and now it's dated. So I no longer advise to batch create that. Get it done, release it. Get it done, release it. And the other thing is, the second they do one podcast, guess what they have to do? They must do the second one because they've already committed and they've released it. So I would say maybe 3 to 4, just so that if you get sick or something happens, you're giving people a constant feed, but but release it weekly. So you might have recorded 3 episodes and then you're recording the 4th one as the first one's being released, but don't batch them all to publish all at once. Feed them every week.
So we got a little bit of information I want to gather with you.
Okay.
So length.
Yes. As long as it takes.
As long as it takes. 5 minutes.
So here, I'll give you an example. We worked with a realtor. This is going on maybe 7 years. We've been doing videos every week, and he's releasing them. Back in the day, we did long form, which was about 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 12, but it was like 12 to 20 minutes tops. There wasn't anything more than that. Then it went down several years later. So maybe about 4 years ago, it was about 7 minutes. Now it's 3.5 minutes, or to be really precise, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. That's where we find, it's like the analytics across the web, on YouTube especially, people just their attention span fades. They want give me information in 3 minutes. And by the way, that's why short form video right now, vertical video, is 3 minutes tops. It used to be only 1 minute.
Yep.
But they're like, I want a little more information, especially to teach something, but that's 3 minutes. And horizontal form is matching vertical attention span. 3 minutes is
couple questions here.
Yep. Now, by the way, you could do longer, and that's why I say as long as it takes. So it might be, but what I say is think in form of, say, 3 minutes, and then it's a new topic in that, or a new conversation. Like we just recorded a podcast, and we gave this tip, then we gave another strategy, and then we gave another one. So ours was a little bit longer. It was like 9 minutes, but we had given 3 different strategies in that. So don't beat a horse to death. Talk about one thing, then go to something else, or like keep changing focus. So go ahead.
Do I pitch?
Ooh.
So you see, like that, this is a visceral reaction.
Yeah,
that's good for you to know. Like,
don't.
Like it's
and here's the subtle differences is, you know how we used to have commercials back in the olden days, right? When radio was around and dinosaur TV, And people got bored of that, right? Or they had those DVRs that could skip those commercials. People hate them. They hate interruption marketing. So if you just break it into a pitch that's interruption and then they bounce, which is really bad for your channel. However, it's not to say you shouldn't make offers, but the best way to make an offer is you mention something of value, and the best way of like pitching is something for free. You were saying in my podcast earlier, you had this big book of like 1,000 pages, but your book publisher said, give me only 300. So you give away the other 900 pages in your free opt-in or your newsletter. So it's like, hey, but if you really like that, you can go to da-da-da-da. So now you're giving me something of value. You're not asking me to, like, you're not selling it.
Got it.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a lot of it is give value. So your pitch is something of value. It's not go buy my stuff.
It's like what you're sharing right now.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like if I just was like, oh, well, I share that in my boot camp. People are like, right. Like, they're here on this channel to learn. Give them something to learn. Give them the meat that they want. Right. So if you do pitch, it's product placement. So before Dinosaur Media radios, they had interruption marketing commercials. Now it's all about product placement. You might have your book in the scene, right? You might have your product in the scene, right? You might have your company in the scene. You might have your company logo in the scene. Product placement. So think product placement versus it's a sales pitch.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Deb.
Yes.
You have been on the internet since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of the internet, since Core created it.
Social media was 2004, 2005, so that's the beginning of time at our age.
Yeah. It's very true.
Right. Where can people find you on the beginning of time?
Coach Deb everywhere, but primarily these days YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where the new AI and Chill podcast is being released that Scott was just on. So yeah, go to YouTube and just put in Coach Deb, all one word, or AI and Chill. And that's the best way that I'm giving lots of information about AI and what's working now in social media.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Deb, thanks for being on.
Thank you. Good to see you.